Welcome, and thanks for joining. Today's an exciting day because we get to test out this new Flashforge Finder 2.0 3D printer. At the end of 2018, they upgraded it from the Flashforge Finder to the 2.0 model. According to all of the reviews, it's meant to be excellent for education and those starting out. I'm keen to see what it can do, so what we're going to do, unpack it, set up some prints in the software, and have a go and see how it performs. So let's get started. So if you first have a look at the box, it only weighs 9 kilograms, so it's quite easy to carry around, and it's got some handles on the side to make it a little bit easier. It's an FFF model printer, or a fused filament fabrication, sometimes called an FDM. So it uses PLA as the print medium. It doesn't have to have a heat bed, which makes it a lot easier to operate. So let's get it open and see what it can do. Cut the tape off, open it up. You'll notice on the back it shows you all of the different colour filaments that you can get. There's a big variety of them that you can get from Flashforge, or you can use other aftermarket ones if they fit in your spool holder. It gives you an assistant levelling system, different ways to connect it, and the base plate's removable. So we'll see what's inside. You'll see it comes nice and tightly packed, and it's good to see that they've replaced the old polystyrene with some new recyclable materials instead. Put it on the ground. Take off the cardboard. Okay. So here's our printer. So in the top we've got quick guide maintenance manual. USB connection cable. A guide for the filament to go from the spool to the printer head. It goes like that once we connect it up. Scraper or a spatula to get our pieces off our test bed, off our print bed. Bought this one in the UK, so it's got a UK plug as well as an EU plug, so it's got both of those. Adapter for the power cable. A couple of cleaning tools and a USB stick with some software on it. That's it for the top. Comes with some sample filament, 0.3 of a kilo, so it's about 10 pounds worth, 10 British pounds worth if you had to buy that, so that's not too bad. And a couple of sample models of what it can do. So it's got a little boat, test boat here, which is a familiar test piece of printing with. And a rectangular object. Doesn't do much, just a box. Put those aside for now. So to now take our piece out, we lift up the bed And we can take the bottom guide away. Nothing in that one. You'll notice at the bottom there's some pieces to remove, some supports, so make sure you take those out. Just some small plastic supports so they can get thrown away. Got our control panel here. So now I've got all of that unpacked, let's have a look in the top. You notice you can see the printer in the top there. Make sure you take away this plastic tape carefully, not to break the ribbon. And you'll also notice at the top on the guides there's these cable ties holding it together. Make sure you take them off carefully and don't damage the rollers. So let's have a look at what else is on our printer. What else does it come with? The print bed, it's removable. Great little feature, which means you can take your piece out with them all attached. Take your scraper or your spatula, scrape it off. Once you're finished, clean it up and put it back on ready to use. It's important that that's kept clean after every use. And another tip a lot of people use is so that the pieces don't tip over when they're printing, you can use a glue stick or some hairspray to make it sticky surface. Keep the piece there. Clean it up once you're finished. You'll notice that it's open on all sides. Gives you great access and great viewing points, especially if you're only starting out or you're trying to teach people how to use it. You can get good access all around. Display panel, control panel in the front. Nice and easy touch screen button panel. We'll have a look at that once we plug it in and turn it on, how to use that one. Nothing else on. So at the back here, this is how you access your filament holder. You can take it out. As you can see, the one that we get as a sample piece fits exactly inside our holder. This is only 0.3 kilo. You can get them in 0.5 kilo or 1 kilo or bigger. The downside with this printer is you have to buy the Flashforge ones so that they fit inside your holder. If you want to go bigger, you have to actually modify it and make your own holder. The good thing is you can download a model, or you can print your own holder that fits onto your printer. So for this one, open it up, see what our filament is. Take out that desiccant and throw that out. So here's our spool, fits neatly inside it. Feed it up through the hole and back outside. We then take our guide that fits from the back here and directly onto our print head. When we install it, we'll do that in a bit. So there's the power switch on the back. On the side we've got a USB access point and a USB cable. So we can plug our computer directly into our printer, or we can put it onto a USB stick if we don't have our computer right near our printer and come and load it remotely. Nice little feature where we can have our printer stored somewhere away from our computer. So that's it. There's our printer unpacked. Let's go and put together a model and we can see what we can print. So the first thing you need to do before you start printing is to load the software that comes with a Flashforge printer, and it's called Flashprint. You need this so that you can actually convert the model, slice it, and then make it ready to print in the Flashforge printers. The first thing it's going to do when you install it is it's going to ask you to select the type of printer you've got. So in machine type here we've already selected our Flashforge Finder printer. Once you've done that, click load. I've copied another model from the internet, from someone's design in here. These are the ones that it comes with. So what I'm going to do is open up the 3D object, 3D Benchy. If there's any problems with the model, we have to repair it. It does it for us and ready to go. So here's a model of the little test piece, sample piece that it came in the container when we first unpacked it. So you can see there we can rotate the view by holding the right mouse button in and have a look all around it. If we want to move it, we can click move, and we can actually move it somewhere on our test bed. Here's the base of our blue test bed, print bed for our printer. Our printer, Flashforge Finder, can print 14 centimeters cubed, which is shown in this area here. So we have to make sure our model fits within these walls. So we can move it anywhere we want, we can rotate it, we can scale it, and we can cut it. If it's too big, we can cut it in half and make 2 prints. So reset that back to where it was, reset back to the middle. Now we want to start printing. If we've got any overhangs, anything more than about 45 degrees, we need to include some supports. So click supports. The good thing about this software is it automatically can do supports for you. Click on auto supports, and you can see there in the green there's all the supports it will print for you so that it doesn't have any overhangs. Save that 3D Benchy. Okay, so now we're ready to convert it for printing. Click print, Flashforge Finder, we're going to print in PLA. We've enabled supports. If we want to have a better support on the base, we want a raft. So click enable raft. I'd recommend doing this especially for some small pieces. And we've got 4 different qualities of print: low, standard, high and hyper. I wouldn't use low, it's not the best quality, and hyper is extremely slow but a lot of detail. So we're going to just click on the high one for now. More options here. We can adjust these once we start to get more familiar with our printer. We can change layer heights, shell thicknesses, the infill, how fast it prints, the temperature, and a few others. So we're just going to go with high, default. Save that, and it saves it as a GX file. Takes a little bit of time to save, and here's what our model is going to look like once it's printed. Up in the right, the good thing about this, it tells you exactly how long it's going to take to print. So on the high quality we've got 3 hours and 43 minutes. Click on weight estimation and it's going to be 16.5 grams of material. Change it to PLA because we've got a PLA printer, and it goes up to 19.7 grams. Another good little feature, you can actually see what's inside these. It's not going to print a solid boat. So if we go to the left on layers, we can actually scroll this down by holding in the left mouse, and it starts removing it layer by layer so we can see exactly how it's printing. So as we go down into the hull itself, you can see there that it's not a solid piece of plastic. The thing about with 3D printing is you're paying for material, so any reduction in material is a saving of print time and a saving of cost. So it prints this honeycomb shaped mesh inside. So this is what the finished product will look like once it comes off our printer. And there we have it. Next thing to do is go and have a test and see what some print pieces look like. So I've got a pretty straightforward print menu here. Build, preheat, and tools. Filament, it's got an auto leveler which you have to do a little bit manually. Home button, status, settings. Change the language, set up a Wi-Fi connection. So the first thing we're going to do is level our printer. So our printer head is moving. Gives you directions as to what I have to do to level our printer. It says screw 3 nuts under the platform counterclockwise until they're tight, then press OK. So we're going to turn these and see what happens. Okay, they're tight. You can see it's got a little silver sensor that's bringing down and it's going to test the levelness of the bed. So you can see there's a bit of filament coming out the extruder there as we heated it up. Okay, so I've loaded our filament into our extruder. Let's put in a program and see if we can print something. Test cube. Says there it's going to take 11 minutes to print. And build. There we have it, finished in 12 minutes. Turn it off. Let's take it out and see what it looks like. So you can see it's built a bit of a raft around there for some stability. Comes off really easily. Break these edges away. There you have it, a box. Just what you've always wanted. Well, there you have it, the Flashforge Finder 2.0. As I said at the start, it's great for education and for those starting out. It's pretty simple to use, the software is very easy to follow. Setting up was a little bit tricky in parts. With the levelling of the bed, the instructions weren't always clear, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And feeding the filament in took a bit of a knack. The main problem I had was with the test bed itself. The first box that we printed out turned out really nicely. Very good square quality edges. The second piece that I printed out was the phone holder. After a couple of layers, it actually started lifting the raft up, which means we had warping of one side and not complete level on the bed. I did a couple of other prints afterwards as well, just to see if I could get it better, and it was doing the same thing with a different shape. You can see there that it's starting to curl up at the edges. One of the main problems here is the adhesion to the bed. The recommendations are to use a glue stick. Make sure you clean off your test bed first really well. Apply a light layer of glue and it should adhere better. Another option is to use some blue builder's tape, which is a little bit sticky on the top. Also, if we take it out of the garage like we're in here, it's a bit warmer inside and less drafty, so that should help it as well, so we don't get as much temperature differentiation between the bed and the hot 220 degree plastic coming out. The good part about it is the print quality is excellent. Very good quality sides, very good quality parts. It's not huge, 14 centimeters cubed, but it's plenty big enough for any work that you're going to be doing just starting out. All in all, great printer, great quality, at a very low price, pretty easy to use, but it does have some drawbacks which it just takes a bit of time to get set up. I hope you like this review. Stay tuned for any further videos on having a go at printing some pieces and maybe designing some ourselves, see how that goes. Thanks for joining.